amount of people that was at that WrestleMania. He had, he didn't have to be nervous. He had that experience going in. And Lesnar was still a kid, and like his last WrestleMania before that, he did beat the Olympic hero Kurt Angle, but he was knocked the fuck out when he did it.
Right. Yeah, and Kurt was hurt, and Kurt was fucked up at that WrestleMania as well. And I mean, hey, Brock Lesnar is a tough, badass dude. Hang on, let me. What I want to do right now. I was gonna say something about this before, and then you fucking you cut me off on this shit. But I do want to take calls on this show.
Well,
and I'm gonna tell you. But what I want to do, what I also want to tell you is that most of the time calls suck shit. So I hate taking them. They just grind everything down. It's like, you want to ask a question, you want to fuck around. But fuck that. But I do also want to say, we will be getting some fucking big name guests. At least to those of us that are kind of in the like indie fucking scene, where we're in the Strikeforce type fucking Ring of Honor type game. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things. We're gonna have some guests. The problem with the guests is the same as the problem as it is with the callers, where you have just, they just grind everything to a halt, where it's just boring and like, you know what I mean? Like it's just so fucking.
The callers, the guys that call and say, hey, I have a question. Well, yeah, you have a question. That's what you fucking called. Say it. This is a love line.
But that being said, I'm going to love line this motherfucker from OKC and see what's going on. I think I know what's up. Oklahoma. Hail Satan. What's up? Oklahoma. Are we hearing you?
Hey, Oklahoma, talk up.
Oklahoma, I'm trying to fucking talk. And Oklahoma don't want a motherfucking talk, motherfucker. But I was going to try to talk to homie, but this is what I'm saying about taking callers every minute. Taking callers is just a disaster waiting to happen. Maybe our microphone's not on.
If Wildfire Tommy Rich is out there, I want him to call in. He was one of the great.
Hey, you know what?
What?
I just put it to you like this. Oh, I gotta
turn your radio down. Turn your radio down.
I gotta mute. I gotta fucking mute some shit because we're getting all the fucking background noise of all time. But yeah, Tommy Rich. That's what I'm saying. We could get Tommy Rich, and Tommy Rich would probably be a good fucking guest because he fucking is retired. He doesn't have to like make good with anybody. He would probably actually talk some shit. Huh?
Yeah, he doesn't have to front anymore. He has nothing to lose.
Right. Yeah. He's the big Don. He's the big Don. He don't need to fucking front. Jerry Burton. Fucking. But guys like that are kind of more the way I want to go with this show. Getting guests like that who aren't going to fucking be a bunch of bullshit. And,
be afraid of burning bridges.
All right. You know what, dude? Oklahoma's back. I'm going to fucking hook up Oklahoma and see if he doesn't give us some fucking feedback again, Oklahoma, because I know this is going to be good. I just have a feeling. Okay. Oklahoma.
Yeah, Sensei. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you now, baby. I know who this is. This is the superhero.
Yeah, this is Danny Clancy.
He's a big star.
I've been listening in from Oklahoma. I like what I've heard so far, really. There's 2 points that I wanted to bring up, and I'll just put them out there and let you guys discuss it. I'll get off the line. But early in the show, you were talking about how well Ron Garvin would have fared in the MMA scene had it been going on back then. One guy that I think may have been overlooked was Dr. D, David Schultz. I wanted to talk about his early MMA fight against John Stossel and what you guys thought about that. And also, you were talking about the Franz Boda fight, the Don King fight that you had seen. I remember that fight, and I just remember on the undercard there was supposed to be some kind of an MMA fight that was supposed to happen beforehand, but they shut it down. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember any of that or not, but
I do, and I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
Thanks for calling in.
This was okay.
Very good call. I like that. That was a very good call, and he's right about, first of all, Dr. D, David Schultz. I think, man, that guy would have fucking super kicked some ass. He was a real bad guy, especially because he was around in he was around in the early 80s, and it made me laugh because he was talking about the John Stossel beating, which was fantastic.
There was a non-sanctioned fight, but John Stossel was caught completely off guard. John Stossel didn't even get his defense up. I mean, what a bit, really.
John Stossel wanted to be a tough guy, and Dr. D. David Schultz.
And then he just gets ditched out.
Right. Dr. D was pretty great. There's nothing like fucking a guy just slapping the shit out of another guy's ears. That's quite as fucking funny. But
in reality, I don't know that he would have been very successful in MMA. I think that he had fire and passion, but I don't think he could stay focused on the prize. Technique-wise, I agree with you. I think he was more of a tough guy. He was kind of more of like a Forrest Griffin type of a guy where he's just kind of tough and bad and he'll fight you, but in the end he'll lose, kind of like maybe a Keith Jardine or that. But if I'm in a fight, I want him to have my back, but at the same time, I'm not going to put my money on him.
Absolutely. But I want to also talk about there was these two guys that were going to have win the Franz Botha fight. These two guys got in the ring and they were doing some sort of an early MMA style match at the Franz Botha fight, and it was fantastic. And I think they eventually got kicked out of the ring, but it was very, very interesting while it happened. That's true. And the crowd was very, very angry because of the Franz Botha fight. They didn't get a lot of people at it, and they ended up cutting the card short by a few fights. And the last fight on the card was the MMA fight, and I think the promoters probably did not even understand what they were seeing when it came on. I think they were expecting another boxing match, and they came in and they did their thing a little bit, and they called that match. The crowd was shitty, and they gave everybody like half their money back, as far as I remember. But that was an early. It was in I can't even remember the years, but it had to have been in the late '90s that this happened. And before happened.
What's the guy they brought into TNA, and they tried to have a MMA match with AJ, and the crowd just shit all over it. They didn't want to see it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Frank Trigg, who is back in the UFC, by the way. Twinkle Toes. He's a great guy. He's a great fucking guy.
But he couldn't hang with wrestling. He didn't understand what they wanted to see. He couldn't adapt to that fighting style, and that's why he wasn't successful. He was a good guy on the commentary, though.
Right, yeah. He was great on the commentary because he understood the holds and the moves and what was going on in the ring at the time. Sort of the way that Nick Bockwinkel was awesome at the commentary when he joined the WWF back in the day. He was great at it because he understood the whole idea of...
It's like, as much as I love Don West, I do think Taz adds an air of legitimacy to the... I think you should always have a retired wrestler or a retired fighter, on commentary, because they've been in the ring. They know what it feels like to, take the elbow smashes, and they can actually convey what that feels like to the juggalos that aren't in the backyard, the ones that are just watching, that might not know what that's like. Having a veteran, explain it to you. I mean, it just, brings you right into the ring.
Right. You're right about that, and I've always liked that too. At least as a third man. I almost would prefer that Don West would be back in the booth for TNA. But
it's a shame that when he finally came into his own, that's when he got promoted. Because
right, as soon as he became the best thing on the show. But this is one thing I want to talk to you about this show lately, is that the TNA ratings keep dropping as this show gets better. This show keeps getting better and better. It used to be horrible with the hardcore